Hey gamers, today we're going to look at the Royal Collection Edition of Castles of Mad King Ludwig. Let's check it out. A little bit of setup needed for this game. First off, everyone's going to get their own foyer. They're going to get 10 coins, which are $1,000 denominations. This is 5,000, that's 1,000. You're going to get your little player aid here. If you're playing with the secret expansions, secret passage expansions, you're going to give them these 3 types of expansions each. If you're playing with the Swan mini expansion, you put the Swan tokens face down over to the side. If you're playing with the Moat expansion, you're putting the Moat over here. And if you're playing with the Towers expansion, you'll fit the Towers up here, and you will grab the cards with these backs here that show these 325. You'll play with those in the game. I'll get to the expansions in a minute, but first off, you're also going to deal out as many of these as there are players in the game. So in a 4-player game, I put here as a 5th player, I'd put one here. These are all random. There are a ton of these little in-game goals you can get each time. Now, the board is actually going to tell you at the bottom of each one of these trays, it'll say how many of these tiles you will need for that one. And there are more tiles than what the game requires even with 5 players. So you're always going to have a different game as you're shuffling up these tiles and putting 4 to 7 in each one of these buckets, according to the player count on each tray. Now, I will say this is the deluxe edition, just to let you know. Also, each player is going to get 3 of these cards, and then they're going to look over them and pick 2 of them to keep in their hand and discard the other. After that's done, you'll have your Swan here at the 0 mark space, and then you will assign someone to become the Master Builder. If you're playing with the little King's Favors here, which comes with the Tower expansion, you will deal out X amount plus 2 to the last player. So if in a 3-player game you'd have 5, they would look at these 5, pick 1, pass it to the 3rd player, 4th, and when it got to 1st player, he'd only have 3 left to choose from, and then you discard the other 2. And again, that's playing with the Towers expansion. But let me just talk about the base game. And the base game is fairly simple. In fact, the rules on the back here give you your actions. Basically, whoever is Master Builder, and by the way, the deck of cards are limited. You shuffle this deck and you only put X amount that the tray says. So I would deal out, let's say this is a 3-player game, I would only go to here. 4 players I'd put here, a 5th player I'd go over here. So I deal out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I look at all these, and the backs of those tiles are the ones I'm going to grab. Now, if it has a swan, this is a mini expansion, you're going to put a swan token on it, if it has that swan emblem on it. And the swan emblem is also on the tile. So if you just forgot and you picked it up, there it is right there. You can tell if it's a swan. But anyway, I can't remember what numbers those were, so I will just pick up some random ones here. So let's say these were the numbers that I drew. And as the Master Builder, then, you can flip them over too, I can pick and choose where I want them to go. Now remember, anything with a swan token on it would get a swan. So this one would get a swan. So I actually put a face down swan on it. So anyway, then I got to decide, maybe I'll put this one here, this one over here, these 2 here, this one here, and this one. Oh, no, that's my foyer. Oops, excuse me. All right, so anyway, so that's what I got there. And now, starting with the player to my left and then moving all around with me going last, they're going to get some choices. And the choices are right here. They can buy one of these rooms, paying me, since I'm the Master Builder, the money for them. So let's say first player took this, they gave me 8,000. The next 2 players took this and this, so I got another 6,000. And then it comes to my turn, and I can buy either one of these. So when you're placing these out, you need to be very strategic on where you're putting them, because you may not want them to get one, or you may want one more difficult to get than others. Now, if they don't choose any of those, they still got another option. They can choose a hallway or a downstairs for $3,000. It even says this. Hallways, if you see these dark little tiles, those go downstairs. It even has the emblem for downstairs. But to get downstairs, you need to buy some stairs in your castle and lead it downstairs, as it shows here. So you can put it downstairs. Or if you're getting a hallway, you can get a hallway and kind of stretch it out. And of course, if it's a downstairs hallway, you'll just flip it over to its darker side, and it even says downstairs hallway. So you're working on upstairs, downstairs, and all between. But remember, no one can get this until they get a downstairs. And people are welcome to buy either one of these, or if they're short on money, which does happen in the game, just grab $5,000. Okay, now when it comes to the Master Builder, when he buys one, he will take all of his money and he will put it in the kitty. So he won't have as much as he may have as much as the end, but he won't pay his to anyone. He'll just pay it to the bank. All right, so that's kind of how it works. Now, and then it tells you how to score the tile. Now, right here, boom, tells you all the steps. Pretty simple. But let's say I was to set this one up. Now, doors must meet doors. Okay, and then I'm going to score the points in the top left corner, and then any other bonuses. And these are negative bonuses. If it's touching any one of these other rooms, I'm going to get -2 points. But I can put it in early because maybe it doesn't negate anything. Now, if something else touches it, any one of these, I will lose the 2 points, so I got to be careful. But I hook it up right there. Now, of course, obviously, I can't put wall to entrance unless I'm placing another one. Let's say through some random event, I was placing, let me see, this one and this one. I'll just place them around here like this. And I was placing one, let's say, that was going to hook up here, but block another entrance. Like maybe this is not a fair one, but say I had these two like this and was putting this one here, or dang, I don't have a good one. Well, let's say I was matching. Let's say there's a doorway here. As long as I'm matching up one doorway, I can block off another one. Okay, so actually, there it was right there. So if I had one here and that was blocking off something else along the way, let's say this one was, well, that actually matches up. This one's here, that would be allowable as long as 2 doorways were meeting. Now, of course, this is downstairs, so I couldn't put that one down here either. But you would just go with regular matching rules. And, of course, if it comes with a swan, you would keep the swan. I'll explain what that does later. And again, you would score it. So if you were scoring it downstairs, you get 1 victory point and 2 victory points for every one of these rooms. And you look on the corner what each room is. So those are entertainment rooms there. And there's one, here's 1, 2, here's 1, 2. A lot of entertainment rooms if you had them. So if I had this and I had all these 3 rooms, I would get an additional 6 victory points. Now, there are bonuses when you complete a room, meaning when all of its entrances are either covered or connected to something else, then it scores again. And you look at here at the bottom left hand emblem here, and then look at your nifty neato player aid to see what you're going to get. So if the room has this icon, you take another turn. If the room has this icon, you take 2 of these little in-game bonus cards and keep 1. If it's a living room, then you rescore that completed room's points. So that means if it was, I don't have one here, but let's say this was a flame room. Once it was completed, I'd score the points over on the left-hand side and then score the points whatever it was in the middle again, if it was for one of those. If it's one of the outdoor ones, I get 10 coins. A downstairs one, I can take 1 of the other 7 completion rewards there. So I can take any other completion reward I want. If it was a corridor, I can grab one of, either one of these. I can grab another stairwell or stairs if I wanted to. It's an easy way to get them. If you completed a little activity place, you get 5 victory points. In a sleeping area, you can choose 1 to 2, 0, 1, 2 rooms to put on top of the deck. Now what this is maybe you're looking for a particular card that just had a tile that hasn't come out yet. Like, dang, I need some 600s here quick. So I can pick 1 or 2 and put them at the top, which means on the next turn, when let's say these were the 3 tiles that were picked, what we would do, first off, you would put $1,000 on each one of the ones that didn't get picked. Okay? And whoever bought that would only have to pay $1,000. They can use this money to purchase it. And even if there was more money on here than what it was worth, then I can just take this one and $1,000. I can use the $2,000 on there to pay that and then keep the $1,000 in the thing. It just makes these less desirable tiles more desirable as time goes on by putting dollars on them. But if I wanted for sure to get 2, I'd put the stack there too, and instead of drawing out 3 more cards, which is what you would do at the end of the round, I'd have to put out this one, and then look at the last card, which would be another 200, and I put that other 200 here, or wherever. You would pass the master builder around to the next player, and then the turns would keep going around. Now, the game ends when you run out of cards. After that, you're going to score all of the, and on the back of the card, just great, all these in-game points. If you're playing with the Swan expansion, let me just tell you real quick, Swans can be cashed in anytime for money. The more Swans you have, up to 5,000. 1 Swan can be worth $1,000, or if you have 5 Swans, you can cash them in for 15. And money's tight, you may be cashing those in, but at the end of the game, they're also worth money. They're also worth victory points if you have unique ones. 4 different or 5 different kinds is 15 points. 4 different kinds is 10, and then just match up. And there's several different, I think there's 5 different color swans in the game. So you're basically just trying to get those. You're also looking at the depleted stack deck. Whichever stacks here are empty at the end of the game, those will gain you an additional 2 points. So if I had 2 of these and 1 of these, that would give me an additional 6 points in the game because those were empty. Those are very popular rooms there. Other things you can score. If you're playing with this expansion, now all the towers expansion is, you'll be shuffling in these tower cards here into your game and dealing a few out depending on the number of players. And when you get these, it'll tell you which tower is which, just based off the colors. That's the orange one, that's the yellow one, so on and so forth. But you'll take that tower and place it. You can place the tower piece in there, or if they, with the roads on it, see, there's one road there that leads to it. Or if that's too complicated, you can just take the, where was the orange tile again? There was the orange tile, and just place it like that too. That's fine. We usually don't do that. We usually just place this out here. But either way, this is the deluxe edition. But that's towers. And what towers do is when you complete these, you will get 3 more of these cards, and you get to pick one. These are like little special abilities or one-time actions in the game, just like little cheats in the game that you can use. But that's the tower expansion. I've already talked about the swans. The secret passages are 3 secret passages you can put on at any time. And as you see, they're shorter passageways than the long hallways. They're corners that can move around different areas if you're tight on space. Or they're ×2 rewards. So when you hook it up and complete that space, you get that reward ×2. Now the thing is, these are free actions to place, but once you place all 3, that's it. You don't get any more. Just an extra way to help you connect certain rooms to get certain points. Because every time you're connecting other rooms, maybe I already laid this one down, and it gets 4 points for each one of these little cup holders, and let's say this one was another cup one, and I happen to attach it, I get those points again. Or maybe I just want to put this ×2, and I get that points ×2 if that was the case. But that's what the secret passages do. Now the moats are a little bit different. The moats, you're going to start with one of these. You'll just click it in like that, and of course you're going to be doing this little moat around your castle. Now the thing is, now you have another option. Instead of gaining 5,000 or buying a hallway for 3 or buying one of the tiles, now you can also buy a moat for 5,000. Now you will give this to the master builder, and when you put it on, of course it must be in line with everything so you can't overflow. It keeps your castle pretty tight here, but you're going to score a victory point for every room in that castle and 3 victory points for getting it. And of course if you complete your moat, it even says this, if you complete your moat, then you can choose 0 to 1 rooms from the stack and add it directly into your castle. So pick any room you want. You get a free room to plant in your castle if you've completed this whole moat. And that's the moat expansion. Now there's one last expansion I haven't talked about. This is the renovations expansion. It's all these cards here. You see they're kind of multicolored here because they can resemble 2 different areas. That's how you can know that's an expansion there, because they have 2 different symbols in the bottom left-hand corner. You're going to put these out equal to the number of tiles that you're pulling out in the game. So in this instance, I pull out 4 tiles here. And I'd leave them over to the side here. Now these are worth $5,000 each. And you put them on top of the other ones to upgrade them, in fact. So let's say I had this one here. Maybe I paid $5,000 for this one, and now I updated it. And now I can score the victory points over to the top right, and any consequences, this is actually negative here, but I would get the negative points or the positive points, whatever it was. And you never refill these unless you have to refill these. So if everyone went for renovations that round, then you're still playing with the same room tiles, you just have no renovations. And when the renovations start clearing out, then you can replace them with more. When the regular tiles start pulling out, you can place them with more renovations. Like I said, it just gives you some more victory points at the end of the game. If you also look at the end of the game, I forgot to mention this, but you're also going to add up any of these, if they're in-game bonuses here. You're going to add up all your in-game bonus cards. You're going to score. These are different ones. They're self-explanatory. So this one would be with the Swan expansion. You have to play with the Swan mini expansion. Whoever has the most Swan tokens, whoever has the most type of rooms, whoever has the most external entrances, that aren't covered by anyone. Whoever has those, first place will get 8, second 4, third 2, fourth 1. And if it's a tie, then you'll add up both points and split the difference there. But you're adding up all that type of stuff in your room, and you're also, every 10 coins is also 1 victory point. And of course, whoever has the most victory points wins. Final thoughts, what do I think about the game? Well, I have been looking at this game not that long. I'd heard about it, I knew about it, I never looked at it, and I was thinking, okay, what's a good tile placement game? And I was looking at 2 tile placement games, and this one came up. No, not the Royal Edition, not the Deluxe Edition, but here I am. And I'll be honest, big winner. Wow. Again, shame on me for not knowing about this game earlier. Why go all out, you say? I had a trade with Noble Knight and made a trade for it. But yeah, super fun. My gaming group was just elated over this game. You can add in the Swan, the Towers, the secret passages, what's the other? Oh, the Moat. And it doesn't really make the game seem complicated. In fact, I equate these to Queenies from Queen Games. They're like just little modules that you can add or take away. Is there one I would take away? No, not really. I'd take them all. I thought they were all fun. And they don't really make the game seem clunky or anything. I was really surprised. Actually, adding them added some more flavor, because when you're playing with a Moat, it is really hard to keep that castle super tight, and it may not be worth it in the end. The Swans. Usually we have our game group save, if they're victory points at the end, they just hoard them. I think I had the most Swans at 3. And everyone else just kept cashing them in for money, which you need in the game. The game has a lot of, how am I going to price these? I need to price them so no one will take the one I want. So I make some super cheap, that people will take. I make this one the most expensive, and they buy the most expensive one so many times. I know my buddy kept getting mad because I kept buying the one. I didn't know which one he wanted. He's like, I'm getting so mad that I kept buying but that was the one I needed, and I was mad at him for making it so expensive. Yeah, the game is fantastic. Do you need this edition? No, you don't. You can probably play the regular one. I do have the Colossal edition with big tiles and everything, and to be honest, I played with this a couple times, but I think I'm going to go with Colossal going forward. They're just bigger tiles, and this is not that big of a table hog as I was afraid it would be. So I think I'll play with the Colossal edition because, like I said, it just has those bigger tiles and everything, and it just looks really nice. And it won't, now, the Colossus edition will be a little bit of a table hog, but not too bad because this one looks fine. So, Castles of Mad King Ludwig. Who knew? Who knew? Who knew? I'd find this game, what, a decade or so after it already came out, and of course I love it. So, great game. All right, gamers, that's all for now. Until next time, you know what to do. Game on!